So we got the movie Megalopolis. Is a weird sci-fi mind-bending thriller drama movie with elements of romance. That's right, I said it again. Elements of romance with the Roman Empire. I knew nothing about this movie prior to seeing it in theaters. All I knew that it was weird, and it was made by Francis Ford Coppola, which if that name sounds familiar to you, he also made legendary movies such as The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. It's set in the near futuristic era of New York, which is literally like Rome. Adam Driver's character Caesar Catalina sees and envisions the future to make the world a better place. But what happens when he faces oppositions, when he falls in love? What about that time travel mechanic you've seen in the trailers? Find out as we talk about it. This movie is certainly not for everyone. It will absolutely divide audiences into two categories, hence that's why it's not making a lot of money, hence also why the Rotten Tomatoes score is a little bit 50-50. You either love it or you hate it, although I personally, I do kind of love it, but I do understand there's a lot of pitfalls and a lot of problems with the film itself. Basically, this movie is like a work of art. When you go to a museum, you see sculptures, you see paintings, you see a lot of things that probably don't make sense to you, and this movie is exactly that. It's like a work of art, and when I started looking at it through that lens, I started appreciating it and kind of understanding it, although it will take several viewings for me to fully understand what's going on here, but I feel like this movie is a work of art rather than a movie itself. I am a cyberpunk futuristic house music martini romance type dude, and I feel like that's why with that person behind me, I kind of love it, although I wish they changed a couple of things, but it speaks to me, or it speaks to a nicher audience than the wider that should have gone to see this in theaters. This is a thinking movie. What does that mean? Thinking movie. Have you seen movies like Inception, by Christopher Nolan, where you have to see it 2 or 3 times to fully understand it? I feel like you have to see this movie multiple times, and although I will say this is a jambolic, that's probably not even a word, jambolic, disaster, beautiful mess. Like, yes, it looks good, it feels good, and it sees good, but at the same time, I was so confused throughout the whole movie. I was just like, what? Like, scratching my head. Yeah, I appreciate it, but it's like, as a work of art, I need the director to tell me, hey, this is what I think about this is what I think about this, and that just turns off the majority of the audience that's going to see this movie. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a thinking movie, but it's like, you have to see this multiple times. I'm like, what? I don't know if I have time to see that multiple times. I mean, yeah, I'll probably go again because I like it, but you're talking to the wider audience, and they're probably just not gonna do that. To start things off, we're basically in New York and has like a Roman set dressing on it, and Adam Driver's character Caesar Catalina is literally leaning over, I think it's called the Chrysler building. He's leaning over it and he says, time stop. Time does stop for a little bit and then it resumes, although that power doesn't really get explained, not even later in the film. I'm just like, whatever. So basically he sees and envisions a better world future when he has opposition by Giancarlo Esposito. I'm probably not saying that name right, I'm sorry, but if you're a video game fan, he was one of the antagonists of the Far Cry game, so he's an antagonist here, so I'm like, that's pretty cool. Problems start to arise when he begins a friendship / potential relationship with the opposing team. So Giancarlo Esposito's daughter, played by Nathalie Emmanuel, which is gorgeous and perfect, by the way, so it kind of has that Shakespearean Romeo and Juliet type of vibes. Adam Driver cements himself as a leading man throughout the movie as he proves to us and himself that he could be the main character with beautiful performances and monologues from Shakespearean. The way he commands, says, and has gravitas to his role with his actions on screens with overall intellect of the character he's portraying. This is also helps because Nathalie Emmanuel's character from the opposing team complements Catalina's character, Adam Driver, in terms of a friendly rival friendship, possibly flirtation relationship as the two of them and their interactions as they talk, a Shakespearean, but also make it feel good vibes for the modern audience, blending in past meets future with a little bit of present there with the things that can happen in the next few years. So basically all the monologue and all the talking feels all worlds in terms of time travel, but still feel modern for us to understand. To round out the cast, we have Audrey Plaza as her intentions quickly change from friendly to jealous type, but also feel like Shia LaBeouf's character as the antagonist's role. He really does not like Adam Driver's character, and that's all I'm going to say about his guy. Giancarlo Esposito, sorry if I'm not saying that name right, and his enemy, yes, kind of, but basically this guy wants a casino on top of the place where Adam Driver's character wants the Megalopolis to feel. I'm just like, do we really need that? I think in the movie someone said, do we really need to spend money on things we don't need for a better future? I'm just like, yeah, kind of, dude. I'm in your same boat, which I'm not going to tell you who says that. Basically, the whole cast is top tier. Every single actor and actresses have been in other movies that you've probably seen in your time of lifetime, but I feel like even though the cast is like A tier, grade A, the performances are beautiful across the world. People might not see that because it just might be bogged down with the, I don't want to say lazy storytelling, but it just probably won't be conventional to means of the normal viewing audience. We also have Lawrence Fishburne as the narrator and the driver. Yeah, he's more than just a driver, but he says things like, he opens the film, he says a lot of things. He is like in the line saying that in the Rome of New Empire, New York is driven by the cast of Caesar Catalina, which envisions the world of the future, but also people don't understand where he's coming from. And he says that throughout the movie, and it's cool to hear his voice throughout the whole thing. And yeah, he says like, even though I don't think she's with us, I kind of like her. I never doubted the tone and feel of the movie and the vibes, although some people might say the CGI might look shoddy, and I feel like in my theater it looked pretty nice, although I did love the costumes, the attire, the set designs, the overall world building. Even though the world building is a lot, and I have to go see it for a second view, and they do have a lot of elements bundled together, although I feel like it does work. As I said, it feels like a beautiful disaster mess, although I love the fanciness, the luxurious, the elegancy of the film, you know, the dresses, the way they command themselves with the characters. It's like, I said this before, past meets future with a little bit of present, although there's some things that are unexplained, like Adam Driver's powers. Also, he got the Nobel Prize for the Megalodon, I think it's what it's called, where he could build it, but keep in mind, I gotta watch this again. These are all just questions from a first viewing that I'm talking to you guys about. Although there are some scenes that are absolutely beautiful and feel like from a Shakespearean fantasy novel, which if you've seen the trailers, Adam Driver's character and Nathalie Emmanuel's character, they're on top of these buildings and it's like being constructed, and it's kind of like there, or should I say the first kiss, which I don't want to ruin it for you, but if you've seen the trailers, which I don't, seeing it prior to the movie's release, I see it after to make a very curated review for you guys, I was like, this is kind of weird. Let's talk about some of the big problems on this film. This movie is not told through conventional storytelling means. What do I mean by that? So basically the movie jumps around not in terms of days or weeks or months, but in terms of critical scenes that should have been given to the audience for you to understand what these characters are going through. So let's just say this. Imagine you're seeing a movie. The movie has to make you think of the scenes that are not even there. Maybe they're going to come in the extended cut, but let's just say two characters are friends. Maybe they fall into likeness, they like each other, they, you know, have flirtation. So basically the movie shows you the two interactions of the two characters. They meet first, right? And then the next time you see them with other characters taking up the screen, they're on their second date. I'm like, what? So they have their first initial interaction, and then your mind makes up, okay, they probably went on a date because they have sparks. And the movie just jumps ahead to like this maybe connection, friendship, second date, and then the next time you see them, they have their first kiss. It's like, what? And when I was watching that, yes, I've seen a lot of romance movies, I've done a lot of romance books, and I understand it, but it's like you're trying to convey that to the audience. Think about it. You're going from the first meeting, you see somebody, let's say I meet her at Target or Starbucks, and then the next thing we're hugging and kissing and we're in like a little fight, and then the next time we're hugging and kissing again. It's like you're missing critical scenes. Yes, I get it, the audience can feel that in their knowledge base and like their background, but like the way that thing is told, it's just weird, it's unconventional, and I'm just like, I get it what you're trying to go for, but I feel like you're literally skipping from the first time they meet each other to the second date and then they fall in love. It's like, dude, you're missing such critical elements. You know, I'm just like, why they feel like they're on the same team now? After the initial meeting, they didn't like each other, and now they're working together. It's like, what? See, that scratches my head. Like when I watch it again, I'm gonna be like, okay, I understand it now. But like, dude, it's weird. And I feel like for a lot of movie fans, this movie's just hard to follow. Yes, it looks amazing, it looks brilliant, there's a lot of money thrown at this, but I feel like a majority of the viewers will just be turned off by it. Although some story elements and like things that happen in terms of structure absolutely make no sense. Like there's just a satellite that's happening and it's hovering over New York, and it's like, what does that explain? And also like the satellite dish and the megalodon and the uses of powers, they're just thrown into the movie. They're like, yeah, you have powers, this is happening, is this going to affect this? Maybe, but it doesn't explain why. And you're right, it's a thinking movie, I gotta watch it again. But it's like, it's so dumb because it just makes me infuriating, and I don't want to get mad about it because I do appreciate what it's going for, but then it talks about human species and being apes, and I'm like, where did this come from? So it's just pulling in things from different directions that kind of make no sense for the average viewer. At the end of the day, it really depends on what type of person you are and a lot that you would tolerate and put up with. As we discussed this here, I really did find enjoyment in the film, although I do recognize there's a lot of problems with it. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a grade B, and I saw this in normal, so your results may vary. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you so much. I know this was a little bit a harder review for me to do. My thoughts were everywhere, and I didn't convey my message throughout thoroughly that I wanted to, because I don't even know how to explain about this movie. So I'm trying my best, but if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Maybe you can hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. With that, take care, bye.